Alright, so now we're going back and getting lesson 2.2 on the complement and supplement, but before we get to that, we get to do a little bit of algebra review. So just a couple of equations right here. Common mistakes are made on problems like these, so I want to go ahead and remind you of the correct way to do these. With this first one, we have x equals 220 minus 3x plus 20. So if you notice, this right side kind of has a lot going on. First thing you're going to want to do is clean it up a little bit. Let's go ahead and combine any like terms that we have. And because those two terms are on the same side, you just put them together as is. What's 220 plus 20? 240. And then bring down your minus 3x. Alright, now that you have those like terms combined, you might notice that we have x's on both sides of our equal sign. So you want to get the x's together, and let's go ahead and get this minus 3x over to the other side so that we leave the 240 alone. We're subtracting 3x. The opposite of that is to add 3x to both sides. So we have 4x is equal to 240. And now to get the x alone, divide both sides by 4, and x is equal to 60. Doesn't this just take you back to all the good times you had in algebra? And some of you guys had yours truly for algebra, so I know it's taking you back to the wonderful, wonderful moments we all shared. Tear dying in my eye. Alright, so next one. We have 180 minus x, nothing to combine there. Over on the right side, though, you've got this number out in front of parentheses. So you guessed it, we are going to start by distributing that 3. So 180 minus x equals 270 minus 3x. And let's take a look at the right side. We don't have any like terms to combine. So once you've combined like terms on each side of your equal sign, you want to, in this example, notice that we have x's on both sides. So let's get those x's together. I'm going to go ahead and get this minus 3x to the other side. So I'm going to add 3x. That cancels. We have 180. A negative 1x plus 3x is 2x equals 270. Now that we have the x's together, we can focus on the side where x is. We're going to get the 180 to the other side first. So we'll subtract 180 from both sides, leaving us with 2x equals 90. And then last step, divide both sides by 2. And x equals 45. So isn't it kind of exciting that we might get to do a lot of math, bringing our algebra skills into geometry? I thought you would like that. Alright, so we've got some vocab to go over right here. First is complementary. This is an E right here. So complementary. So complementary angles are two angles whose sum, so if you add them together, is 90 degrees. Each of the two angles is called the complement of the other. Alright, so complementary angles add up to 90 degrees. So let's take a look at, let's say that we have an angle here with this ray in between. So let's say that this one is 50 degrees and this one is 40 degrees. Now if you think about breaking that apart, this 50-degree angle plus the 40-degree angle equals that bigger 90-degree angle. So complementary angles add up to 90 degrees. One way to help you remember that, this is one thing that I remember learning, complementary starts with a C, and you can take that C and you can turn it into a 9, throw a 0 after, so complementary angles add up to 90 degrees. It's nice to have a little trick to remember complementary angles so we don't get it confused with this next one. So you have complementary angles. You also have these angles that are called supplementary. So supplementary. Little spelling lesson for you. Supplementary. Alright, so supplementary angles are two angles whose sum is, now it can't be 90 degrees because that was your complementary angles. The sum for supplementary angles is 180 degrees. Each of the two angles is called the supplement of the other. So for example, we've got this straight angle right here, and a straight angle is equal to 100 degrees. So if you throw in another ray, which gives you two angles, maybe you have 130 degrees and 50 degrees. These are supplementary angles right here. 130 plus 50 is 180. These 130 is the supplement to the other angle. And then one thing, you can assume supplementary angles because of this straight angle right here. If you have a straight line that's giving you, and another ray that's giving you two angles, this is something that you can assume. So do we have a trick to remember that supplementary angles add up to 180 degrees? Of course we do. Supplementary starts with an S, right? So if you take that S and you connect the two, it looks like an 8, doesn't it? Throw a 1 in front, a 0 on the back, there's your 180 degrees for supplementary. Cool trick, huh? Alright, so this slide we're going to fill in our notes, and this will probably make more sense when we go through some examples. But you're going to see two main types of problems that deal with complementary and supplementary angles. So first thing you want to do is figure out the type of problem that you're dealing with. So could be a fill in the blank problem. Now if it's a fill in the blank problem, I'm going to kind of separate these out like that, then that means that you can set up a basic equation like this. So x will always be one of the blanks plus something else equals, this one will be either 180 degrees if it's supplementary or 90 degrees if it's a complementary angle. And then once you have your equation set up, then you can go ahead and solve for x. Alright, so if it's not a fill in the blank problem, it's going to be a write it the way you read it problem. So if it's a write it the way you read it problem, the measure of the angle is going to be x. The measure of the supplement is going to be 180 minus x. And the measure of the complement is going to be 90 minus x. And when you have is, that's going to be your equal sign, and then you solve for x. So, like I said, this will make sense when we do some examples, but have that written in your notes so you can always refer back to it. You know, is it this type of problem where we set up a basic equation? Is it one of these where our equation, we write it the way we read it? So let's look at some examples.